You have been in this work long enough to have proved a few things, and to have been disappointed by a few things. And so you are ready to hear this now. Those of you who have been saying, "I am strong, I am wealthy, I am safe," and have had a little good and then a sudden letdown, listen carefully. First, I will tell you something you must remember. You cannot sit down and use "I am" to make life do your will. You cannot hire God for your project. You cannot turn the holy name into a lever to move the world around your private hopes. Stop it. Stop the attempt to make God your employee. Be still and know that God is God. When you adorn the old self with spiritual words, it is still the old self. I, me, mine, wearing a robe, is still I, me, mine. The hidden motive beneath much affirmation is control. Self-improvement not as sanctification, but as advantage. Protection not as trust, but as personal immunity. Success not as service, but as personal triumph. Have you noticed? Are you trying to sway God? To persuade law? To bend the universe a little toward your corner? Search yourself. Ask yourself, when I say "I am," is it a bargaining chip? Is it a shield? Is it a charm to keep away loss and attract applause? If so, correct yourself. God is not changed by your saying. God is already being God. There is nothing you can do that will sway God or move God out of its orbit. Not by might, not by power, not by multiplied words will you get God to endorse your plan. The only thing that can change is your consciousness, the way you are using the word "I." You cannot bring God to you, but you can bring yourself to God. You cannot make the infinite serve a finite will, but you can release the finite will into infinite being. That is the doorway. That is the function of the name. I am is not a tool to force outcomes. It is a doorway out of the personal self. The moment you stop trying to decorate the person, the moment you stop I, me, mine, a quiet begins. You will feel it even now if you will listen inside. Every sense of strain begins to leave the body when you no longer clutch the name as a handle for getting. Relax. Relax. Let the jaw loosen, the hands unclench, the breath settle. Be still. Take no thought for your life. God is no respecter of persons. Do you see how freeing that is? It means the presence is not parceling favors. It means the presence is presence, here as law, as love, for all. And you are included when you cease trying to be exceptional. So let this be the correction that starts our work. Never again use "I am" to command life. Use it to disappear into life. Yield the personal "I" and discover the "I" that is before the person. The "I" that needs no defense, no display, no demand. Then the peace that is a gift, not an achievement, begins to move in and do the only work that is real. Be at peace. Relax. Let God be God. Now we must ask the question that decides everything you will do from this moment. When you say, "I am," who is speaking? Is it the remembered self that has been wounded and wants its turn to win? Is it fear dressing up in pious phrases? Is it ambition cleverly trying to recruit God for its agenda? Or is it the presence that neither grasps nor defends, that simply is, before thought, before want, before name. Search yourself. Be honest and be quick about it. When you pray, when you affirm, does it begin from a separate person trying to survive, acquire, fix, be applauded? Do you notice the subtle bargaining? I am this so that life will give me that. Are you using I am to change another person, to secure money, to remove fear, to be admired, to outrun your past? Are you trying to make the universe certify a resume called me? If so, correct yourself. That is not prayer. That is personal will with religious words. There is nothing wrong with needing daily bread, with seeking shelter or health or right work. But you cannot drag the holy into the service of the anxious self. Not by might, not by power, not by the multiplication of affirmations will you move God an inch. And you do not need to. God is already being God. The only change that can happen is in the one who is speaking. What is the I that is praying? Is it a fragment demanding repair? Or is it the life that never broke? Here is the diagnostic sign, and you must remember it. The moment your body tightens, your breathing shortens, and your mind begins to argue and compare, you have turned I am into mental effort and personal grasping. The very strain is the evidence. God's presence is not contacted by force. Be watchful. The instant you feel the jaw set, the brow knit, the chest harden, stop. Stop your meditation. Stop your affirmation. You are trying to finitize the infinite again. Relax. Relax. Let the hands grow quiet. Let the breath soften. Let the mind fall silent of its own weight. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy and try to make God. Ask again, tenderly now. Who is speaking? If it is fear, it will hurry. If it is memory, it will argue. If it is ambition, it will compare itself with others and feel a little heat of envy or pride. If it is presence, there will be no hurry, no defense, no need to reshape the world this instant. Take no thought for your life becomes possible only when the speaker is not the anxious construct, but the impersonal life that includes you. And if you say, I am love, test it. Does your heart soften toward the one who wronged you? Or do you secretly hope your love will make them behave? If you say, I am supplied, does your neck loosen? Or do you watch the clock and the ledger as if they were gods? Are we doing this? Are we catching ourselves? Be faithful in little things. Notice the first flicker of grasping and refuse it. Refuse it gently, but refuse it. Let this be the transition you carry forward. If I am produces strain, you are not in I am. You are in the mind claiming authority. And if you are in the mind, you are outside the peace that is a gift. Come back without self-accusation. Come back by release. Be still. Let God be God, and the true I will speak for itself. Now let us look straight at the mistake and call it by its right name. You are finitizing the infinite when you turn I am into a label for a person with a program, a shopping list, a private stage on which to shine. Do you see it? I am confident. I am wealthy. I am irresistible. Not evil words, not wicked syllables, but as a foundation, they are wrong if they keep a someone at the center trying to secure and display themselves. You cannot bring God to your plan, but you can bring yourself to God. You cannot make I am serve you, but you can yield the you that is grasping into I am. When you say, I am confident, what is it for? To be at peace even if no one notices, or to be seen and to win? When you say, "I am wealthy," is it a resting in sufficiency, or an attempt to force supply because you still worship the ledger? When you say, "I am irresistible," is it a confession that love is God, or a device to get others to bend? Are we doing this? Are we using holy words to fortify a frightened little castle? If so, correct yourself. Do not finitize God into a personal badge pinned to the chest of a creature terrified of time, circumstance, opinion. Here is why the technique fails, and why it often backfires. It strengthens the sense of a separate self, and then baptizes that strengthened self as spiritual. It builds a taller tower of personality, and then calls the tower the temple. For a day or a week, there may be results, excitements, compliments, checks in the mail. And then the inevitable tremor comes, and fear doubles, because now your God is your results. The mind says, "My affirmations worked, my affirmations failed." And you are back under the lash of cause and effect, measuring yourself against yesterday's magic. That is bondage. That is the arm of flesh. Not by might, nor by power, nor by multiplied words will you find safety. Peace is a gift. My peace give I unto you, not as the world gives, not as the person purchases. You cannot use "I am" to decorate the old man and expect the new life to appear. The more you add predicates to "I am" to enhance the image, this, that, the other, the more you tighten the frame around a picture that was never you. The very act of labeling is a shrinking, a contracting, a finitude. Do not finitize the infinite. Let the predicate go. Let the program go. Put up thy sword. Take no thought for your life. Be still and know that I am, without adornment, without performance, without defense. And hear this for your comfort. It is not that the name is weak, it is that the personal noise is loud. It is not that grace is scarce, it is that grasping is noisy. The correction is simple and immediate. Stop trying to make "I am" prove something about you. Yield the you. Relax the chest. Loosen the jaw. Let the breath fall into its own rhythm. Turn from labels to presence. Say within, if you must speak at all, "Here I am, Father," not to get, not to be made into something, but to be used. Then wait. Rest. The infinite does not enter your plan. It reveals itself as the ground of being, and you find that you were included all along. Quiet your person, and you will hear what cannot be heard through noise. Now, lift your eyes from your little story, and look out where being is being itself, without your labels, without your timetable. God is no respecter of persons. The sun rises on the just and the unjust. The rain falls on the fields of the grateful and the ungrateful. Do you see what that means for you? It means you do not have to make a case. You do not have to plead a special plea. You do not have to earn a private miracle. Presence is presence, universal, impartial, unbribable. And the instant you stop trying to be the exception, you find you are included in the rule. You have been told to take no thought for your life, not because life is careless, but because life is already being life, everywhere, for all. My peace give I unto you, not as a medal for good behavior, but as the nature of being itself. Be still and know that God is God, not your sponsor, not your bodyguard. not your personal talisman. God is God. Law, love, order, life universal. And you are safe. Not because you have carved out a protected corner of existence with affirmations, but because there is nowhere outside of God in which to be unsafe. Your safety is not a private possession. It is the discovery that presence is already functioning as life itself. Do you fear that impersonal means cold? No. Impersonal means free. Free from favoritism. Free from bargaining. Free from, why me? The Father's table is set for all. For friends, for enemies, for saints, for sinners, for the clever and the simple, for those who remember to pray, and for those who forget. And here is the relief. You may stop performing. You may stop campaigning for grace. You may stop trying to look spiritual to win a prize that is already being handed out without tickets. Relax. Relax. Let the jaw loosen, the shoulders drop, the breath lengthen. Every sense of strain leaves when you release the fantasy of personal advantage. Ask yourself gently, have I been trying to be singled out by God? Have I secretly wished for a private lane in the universe, fewer winds for me, more sun for me? Are we doing that? If so, correct yourself. Let the heart widen until it can say, as thou art for all, thou art for me, and as thou art for me, thou art for all. Then watch how the room of your being changes. The comparisons quiet. The envy melts. The urgency to prove yourself begins to die. And this prepares your next step. If presence is impersonal, then your work is not to demand special treatment. Your work is to enter stillness where the personal claim falls away. Not give me, but use me. Not make exceptions for me, but let me live as thy rule. Be still and know that God is God, and you will feel the pressure that made prayer a performance drop away. In that quiet, you are carried, not as a favored person, but as a wave carried by the sea itself. Take no thought. Rest in the law that has no favorites and therefore cannot fail you. Be at peace. Relax. Let God be God. Now listen and follow exactly, because this is the hinge on which your practice turns. The mechanism of grace is not effort. It is release. Not by might, not by power, not by the multiplication of thoughts, but by letting go. The very instant you detect tightening anywhere, jaw, throat, chest, belly, the very instant you feel the mind beginning to speed up and argue its case, stop. Stop the affirming. Stop the pleading. Stop the mental rehearsal. Relax. Relax. If you continue in that moment, you have returned to the arm of flesh, mental force, personal insistence, and you will miss the very gift you are asking for. Stop. Let go. Be still and know that I am God. Open the hand. That is all. Grace is not achieved by intensity. It is received by surrender. A clenched fist cannot receive. A tight brow cannot see. A hard heart cannot hear. Loosen. Loosen. Let the tongue settle back in the mouth. Drop the shoulders. Uncross the legs. Let the breath fall into its own wise rhythm as if it knows the way home, because it does. Do not try to breathe. Let breathing happen. Do not try to think a holy thought. Let thought run down like a toy whose spring is unwinding. rest. My peace give I unto you, not a wage, a gift. And now notice what changes as release takes place. The strain that had crept into the body dissolves like frost in the morning sun. The breath lengthens, the out-breath finishes itself. The mind's argument loses its authority. The prosecuting attorney sits down and forgets what case it was pressing. A quiet assurance arises that does not shout or promise. It simply is. You will not be able to say why, but you will know, I do not need to push here. I am included. That knowing is not a sentence, it is a presence. Stay there. Take no thought. Let the room of your being prove the law at work by the ease that spreads through it. Now, do not confuse this stillness with dullness. Stillness is not sleep. It is not passivity or vacancy. Stillness is alert receptivity, like a window open to the morning air. Dullness collapses, stillness stands. Dullness forgets, stillness remembers God. Let your spine rise as if lifted by a thread. Let your face soften as if warmed by light. No forcing, no holding your mind down. Let attunement replace effort. Be attentive without strain, available without demand. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. In this hearing, you are not manufacturing a state. You are consenting to what already is before thought. Presence. And here is the fruit. In this relaxed receptivity, you can begin to hear the difference between a personal I am trying to describe and improve a someone and the silent fact of I am that asks for no adjective. In the noise, you cannot tell them apart. In stillness, the counterfeit falls silent. Let this be your practice. The moment of tightening, stop. Release until the breath lengthens and assurance returns. Then listen, not for phrases to add to a person, but for the wordless being that is your life. Relax. Relax. Be still and let God be God. Now we come to the pivot. You have been saying, I am this, I am that, and you have felt the strain of guarding those labels. Hear me. I am successful is a personal claim. I am is presence itself. Prior to description, prior to story, prior to need. The first builds a costume. The second removes the actor. The first demands proof. The second abides without defense. You cannot carry adjectives into the temple. Remove the sandals of words. Be still and know that I am. Practice this exactly. In your quiet, let the mind begin its old habit, I am, and then stop. Do not let it finish the sentence. Drop the predicate. Refuse the add-on. Stand in bare being. If a word rises, let it pass like a bird through a wide sky. Do not catch it. Do not decorate I am. Do not weaponize I am. Do not turn I am into a charm. Be with the nameless. This is not declaring to get. This is consenting to what already is. Awareness aware of awareness. Consciousness aware of consciousness. God is already being God. Not by might nor by power. Consent. Rest. Every time you withhold the predicate, you cancel the contract with fear. Do you see that? The label requires defense. Successful must not fail. Healthy must not ache. Safe must not be surprised. The moment you add a predicate, the mind posts a guard at every door. But when you remain with I am, there is nothing to patrol. There is no throne for the little self to keep polishing. The arm of flesh falls limp. The breath lengthens. The jaw loosens. The room of your being grows wide. Quiet joy appears without cause, because cause and effect belonged to the label, not to presence. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Ask yourself right now, can I let the sentence end at I am? Can I bear the nakedness of being without a boast, without a shield? Are we doing that? Or are we still smuggling a plan into our prayer? I am so that I get. If so, correct yourself. Stop. Relax. Return to the center that does not need a predicate. The instant you feel the urge to finish, my health, my future, my reputation, say within, not I, not me, not mine. Only presence. Only I am. Then wait. Do nothing. Take no thought. This reverses your whole practice. You have been speaking to create. Now you are listening to consent. You have been asserting to secure. Now you are yielding to the security that is the nature of God. You have been trying to be someone. Now you are discovering the one before someone. And what happens? Fear drops with the predicate. Comparison fades with the story. The person steps off the stage, and life keeps shining. Be still. Let the name be itself. Let go of every finishing word, and you will feel what cannot be said. I am, and that is enough. Relax. Relax. My peace I give unto you, not as the world gives, as being, as gift. Now hear me with the same stillness you have begun to taste. You cannot abide in impersonal I am while clinging to personal hostility and self-will. You cannot stand in the temple and smuggle in condemnation. You cannot speak the name and keep a ledger of injuries. You cannot take the gift of peace and use it to fortify a private citadel of superiority. Stop it. Bring yourself into alignment with the law that is no respecter of persons. This is not scolding. This is instruction. Grace is present, but you must be attuned to it. Not by might, not by power, but by yielding to the moral order of being. Search yourself now. Ask yourself and do not delay. Are you forgiving? Or are you savoring old narratives of hurt? Are you praying for those you dislike? Or are you rehearsing their faults and calling it discernment? Are you honest in small things, money, words, time? Or do you permit yourself clever shortcuts because you meant well? Are you seeking specialness, hoping God will set you above? Or are you content to be included with all? Are you living on the arm of flesh, strategy, manipulation, flattery? Or are you trusting the invisibility of spirit to go before you? Are we doing that? Have you put up thy sword? Or are you still winning in your imagination? If so, correct yourself. Do not call your suffering punishment. The law is impersonal. If you step outside it through fear or hatred, you feel the friction, as surely as a hand moving against the grain feels heat. He that held himself outside of it felt the lack. When he yielded, life flowed again. It is not God withholding. It is your clinging that blocks the sense of God. The remedy is plain. Obedience is not bondage. It is liberation. Forgiveness is not moral decoration. It is the doorway back into attunement. Humility is not groveling. It is the end of the exhausting project called me. Right alignment is not a new costume. It is ceasing to argue with the way God is being God. Try it this instant. Think of the one who has grieved you. Let the jaw loosen. Let the breath lengthen. Say within, Father, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Forgive them in me. Forgive me in them. Do not bargain. Do not narrate. Release. Release. The moment you stop I, me, mine in the field of grievance, the heart begins to thaw. You will feel a softening that is not your achievement. It is grace re-entering the room that resentment had locked. Now let humility do its work. Ask, am I willing to be taught? Am I willing to be ordinary in the sight of God, not special, not set apart, simply included? Are we doing that? If you cannot pray blessing for your critic, you are not yet in I am. You are in the mind defending a picture. Lay it down. Put up thy sword. Judge not. Take no thought. Relax and yield to the universal presence that asks no bribes and plays no favorites. And see the turn that follows. The minute forgiveness loosens the knot and humility ends the campaign, you stop trying to use God, and you begin to let God use you. The will to manage drains away. The ease of being carried appears. This is the pressure peak, and it is mercy. Let the inner demand be fulfilled. Align, forgive, release. Then the name will name itself where you stand, and the peace that is gift will have a clear passage. Be still. Be obedient to love. Relax. Let God be God. Now let us take the step that ends the campaign and begins the life. Affirmations have had their day with you. They have taught you where you cling. The mature use of the name is not give me, but use me. Not make my life, but live thy life as me. Hear the prayer and make it yours, not once, but until the jaw loosens, the shoulders drop, and the breath remembers its peace. Father, forgive me. Never more will I ask you to do my will. Never more will I try to hire you for my plans, to bribe law with words, to bend the universe to a frightened picture of me. Thy will be done, in me, as me. Here I am. Use me. Let my life be an avenue for thy grace. Let me be led. Let me be still. Let me listen. Take from me the belief that I am the author, the manager, the fixer. Take from me the love of outcomes. Live thy life as this transparency. Be my seeing, be my speaking, be my moving. Not by might, nor by power, but by thy spirit. Now, understand what you have surrendered, lest fear whisper that you have laid down your intelligence or your work. You have not. You have surrendered only the private claim to authorship, the idea that a separate me must manage reality. You have yielded the boast, not the wisdom, the strain, not the action, the vanity of being the doer, not the dignity of being used. I can of mine own self do nothing, do you see? And therefore, everything that needs doing can be done through you, without the burden of self-importance or self-defense. Put up thy sword. Take no thought. Be still, and let God be God as you. Here is the simple sequence. and do it exactly. Sit. Sit as if the earth will hold you, because it does. Relax. Let the jaw loosen, the tongue quiet, the breath lengthen by itself. Drop I, me, mine, as a coat off the shoulders. Then speak the surrender prayer slowly, as if each phrase were warm light. Say, Father, forgive me. Never more my will. Thy will be done. In me, as me. Use me. Lead me. Still me. Let me listen. Then stop. Stop the words. Rest in silence until the inner argument subsides. No hurry, no bargaining. If the mind starts again, repeat once, gently, and return to the quiet. Do not push. Do not manufacture. Consent and wait. And how will you know right prayer has occurred? Peace arrives as a gift. My peace give I unto you. Not excitement, not strain, not a compulsion to go prove something to someone. You will feel an ease that does not swagger, a softness that needs no witness, a sufficiency without a story. The body will tell you. The breath moves freely. The eyes soften. Time is no longer an enemy. That is the seal. When peace is present, act if action is given. Rest if rest is given, but do not pick up the old agenda. Relax. Relax. Be still. Let the I am pray itself as you. Not make my life, but live thy life as me. Now we live. You will still go to your desk, answer the phone, change the diaper, pay the bill, keep the appointment. You will still plan, because wisdom plans. You will still speak, because love communicates. But the author has changed. The anxious manager has resigned. The transparency remains. Do your work, but do not pick up the campaign. Take the step before you. Leave the horizon to grace. Where you once tried to make outcomes march to your chant, you now let right action arise from the quiet center, and let results belong to the law that is already in operation. Not by might, nor by power, but by spirit. Here is your field test in the marketplace. The moment you feel tightening in a conversation, at your keyboard, in a meeting, stop within. Do not freeze outwardly. Simply pause inwardly. Loosen the jaw. Let the breath finish itself. Say nothing inside but, I am, without predicate, and listen. The argument in the mind is the arm of flesh. The ease that appears is presence. From that ease, answer the email, make the call, write the line of code, sign the contract, or decline to sign. You cannot bring God to your project, but you can bring yourself to God, and then the project will be served by law instead of by your strain. Take no thought for your life does not mean negligence. It means no fear at the center while you keep your agreements with integrity. Concerning money, correct your premise. Supply is not your private possession. It is the ever-present activity of being. Treat money as a means of circulation, not as a god to appease or a wall to hide behind. Be honest in your accounts. Give quietly where you are led. Spend wisely without the tremor of what if. Save without worship. Invest without greed. And the instant the ledger makes the chest harden, stop. Relax. Return to I am and say, use me as sufficiency, not my plan, thy order. Then do the next plain thing. Send the invoice, take the humble job, make the call, learn the skill. The checks may come from places you could not have engineered, or a door may close and turn your feet to a better street. Your safety is not in the number. Your safety is in the law that includes you and excludes no one. God is no respecter of persons. Therefore, there is no scarcity in God. In relationships, cease recruiting the name to bend another will. Do not chant, "I am this, I am that," to conquer a spouse, a child, a colleague. Instead, behold presence where enemy and friend seem to be. See if the label drops when you relax. Then act, not as a pleaser, not as a tyrant, but as truth in love. Sometimes that means a tender word. Sometimes a firm boundary. Sometimes silence that refuses to sharpen the blade. Put up thy sword. If the pulse quickens and heat rises, stop inside. Let the breath lengthen. Let the sentence end at "I am." Then speak only what remains after the heat has left. You will find that wisdom is simple and that it rarely needs many words. Because presence is impersonal, it can bless without favoritism through whatever you are doing today. Your life ceases to be a hunt and becomes a radiation. You are not getting. You are giving out what cannot be spent. Quiet confidence, unneedy competence, a peace that steadies rooms. Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. Take this into the day. Pause at the first sign of tightening. Relax. Return to predicateless "I am." Then do the next right thing without self-importance. You will find you live freer when action rises from presence and not from the anxious person. Relax. Relax. Be still. Let God be God as your work, as your money, as your relationships. Now, let us be still. Be still. Rest. Loosen. Let the jaw soften. Let the tongue rest. Let the shoulders drop. Let the breath lengthen by itself. Do not help it. Do not manage it. Let the mind stop finishing sentences. Let the sentence end at "I am," and do not add a single word. Awareness remaining as awareness, that is enough. Take no thought. Be still and know that I am God. Do not try to feel something. Do not hunt for a sign. Stop your inner campaign. Rest as if the floor itself could hold you without your assistance, because it can. If a thought rises to tell a story, let it pass like a bird across a wide sky. Do not catch it. Do not decorate it. Do not argue with it. Let it go. Be still. Relax. Relax. Now notice. The room is lighter. Do you feel it? The inner pressure that pushed and measured is softening. The problem that argued for your attention has lost its siren's voice. It is not that the world vanished. It is that its claim to power was fed by mental grasping, and you have opened the hand. The arm of flesh has put down its sword. My peace give I unto you, not as the world gives. Gift. Gift. And here is the seal, and I want you to remember it. You cannot make God come. You can stop running long enough to recognize God is here. You cannot bring God to you, but you can bring yourself to God. God is already being God, no respecter of persons, no bargaining, no favorites. Your stillness is not an accomplishment, it is the ceasing of interference. Be still and know. This is your practice for the week, and do it exactly. The instant you catch I, me, mine, tightening the chest or quickening the pulse, stop within. Loosen. Let the breath finish itself. Drop the predicate. Let the sentence end at I am. Stay silent a moment. No bargaining, no pleading, until you feel the ease return. Then do the next right thing. Peace is not earned. Peace is given. It is received in surrender and maintained in humility. Not by might nor by power, but by yielding to the presence that never left you and will not leave you. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Walk softly, speak simply, forgive quickly, and keep the inner sentence short. I am. That is enough. Now you see how much freer this room is. Let that freedom go with you, into your home, your work, your errands, your sleep. Fear not. Be still. Rest. Loosen. Let God be God. Good night. Thank you.